What's up, everyone? It's J&J with Justin and Jordan. What we got today, Justin?
So today we will be recapping the game ones from this past weekend and giving our predictions for round 2. But we have a few things we want to talk about recapping for the last series. And what you got?
So first, I want to definitely talk about the Bucks collapsing, bro. Like, I know we're here to talk about round 2. We wanted to put a big emphasis on round 2, but the way that some of these series ended, like, we got to talk about it. We had Jimmy Butler score nearly 60 last week since the last episode and drop a 40 ball. Hit a shot, an alley-oop, to tie the game and send it to OT because Coach Bud, I understand he lost his brother recently. You know, prayers out to him, but I think he's on the hot seat after a decision like taking out Brook Lopez, which let Jimmy Butler be open for that. We saw Drew Holiday miss a clutch free throw. We saw Jimmy Butler be in Drew Holiday's head the entire game, talking shit to him the whole game. We saw Giannis taking jump shots in the fourth and overtime. It was an embarrassing way to crumble. It was embarrassing. And you know what made it even worse? You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time MVP, champion, finals MVP, wanting to give a quote, trying to be inspirational. There's no failing. Everything is a route to success. Bro, you were the favorite to win the championship. Not the favorite to win your series, not the favorite to get out the East. You were the favorite to win a title. And you folded. Not just you, not all blame to Giannis, but he did shoot 10 for 23 from the free throw line. Terrible. One of the ugliest near 40 balls I've seen in my life. He scored 38, but it was ugly. All these unnecessary jump shots when they need him to cut to the basket, go straight to the basket, or give up the ball to Chris Middleton. We heard the announcer saying, in a position like this, in a time like this, you want to give the ball to Chris Middleton because Giannis can't really create his own shot like that. They fumbled. I know some people want to say, hey, like this is an inspirational quote, whatever. This is funny because he's calling out the reporter for asking the same question as last year. I don't think it's funny. You failed. Straight up, you and your team failed. You were supposed to get to the finals and win a title, but you failed in the first round, losing to an 8 seed. Embarrassing.
No, yeah. The quote, I saw the quote and I kind of, obviously it's after a game, so the emotions are high and stuff like that. I get what he was trying to say, that not everything's a failure, it's all a journey and stuff. But I feel like for the Bucks, this was a failed season. You guys were missing Middleton last year and lost to the Celtics in the second round. None of us looked at that as a failure. And then the year prior to that, you guys won the championship despite Giannis hurting his knee, playing with a hyperextended knee, and they didn't make no excuses about that. They just kept going and kept trying to play. I feel like this year they were more trying to – I feel like they kind of took the Heat lightly, and they were looking past the first round and thinking, yeah, we're not even worried about the Heat. But the Heat just came to play. They had nothing to lose. They were fighting the whole series. And, yeah, this is a failed season. When you are the 1 seed, you have championship aspirations. Giannis, you're probably the best. You probably had the best 5-year stretch from a player we've seen in a while. And you're an MVP. You're a defensive player. This is the type of stuff that's going to come with you and follow you when you're that top guy. There's no excuses. I know he only played 2 games in the series, but even the 2 games he played, they lost, despite the numbers he put up. And like you said, this game, 38 points, and 20 rebounds, but still he was still kind of inefficient. 10 for 23 from free throws. He's got to clean that up. But yeah, I think this is a failed season, bro. And Bud is definitely on the hot seat. Bucks have to figure out what they're gonna do because they're kind of an old unit, and they have to figure out what they're gonna do next year. They're not getting any younger. I believe Brook Lopez is a free agent, and that man is, I believe, 35, 36 years old. I think Chris Middleton has a player option, so they have some decisions to make in the offseason.
You gotta, in my opinion, you gotta fire Bud because, Giannis is reiterating the same thing that he said when they lost in 2020 in the bubble, saying, I want to guard Jimmy Butler. It's 3 years later. Coach Bud still didn't learn. He didn't want to throw, Giannis on Jimmy. I think he's frustrated by that fact. I think Giannis definitely wants to be in a better position so that he could win every single year. I view Giannis as the new LeBron James of this era. This guy is always going to have the expectation to go to the finals every year. But in my opinion, I'll even lower my expectations. Giannis should make, the conference finals at minimum every single year. And to lose in the first round to an 8 seed, I understand this is the scariest 8 seed we've seen in a while. This is an 8 seed that could quite possibly go to the finals just like the Knicks did. But you losing to an 8 seed, bro, I think that's embarrassing. And, moving on to the series that ended, last night actually yesterday afternoon with the Warriors and the Kings. I have my bias against the Warriors. I was disappointed. Fox, of course, all that energy spent throughout this entire series was going to catch up to him. Didn't have the greatest game. I don't blame him. Sabonis, as we discussed before we even got in here, collapsed in the second half. Steph dropped 50, talking shit to the fans, saying, y'all not ready for this shit, saying, light the beam. I was disappointed in this. I don't know if you saw Draymond talking about he didn't appreciate that Sabonis walked out without shaking hands. I don't blame him. If you were to get swept, whatever, but, in a respectful way, shake your hands. But with Sabonis getting curb stomped to the chest, eating an elbow by Kevin Looney and Kevon Looney and not getting a foul call for it, playing with a black eye the whole game, getting beat up, the entire series. Why the fuck does Draymond Green deserve a handshake from him? Seriously. This is what he's crying about, he's been the bad guy the whole series. This is what you want to cry about? Come on. And I also put blame, Sabonis is not a victim. I put blame on Sabonis for losing this game, A total collapse of the entire team. I thought this was a very winnable series, but, it just wasn't destined for them. I think for years to come, there's going to be a pretty decent team. I think we're going to have to start expecting, Sacramento to keep making the playoffs. I don't know if we're going to see them as a 3 seed every single year, top 3 seed, but, this is definitely a team from now until the next couple of years. I want to see them make the playoffs basically every single year. How did you feel about, that Game 6 and Game 7, especially Game 7 with how things ended?
Game 6, I thought the Kings showed a lot of fight, which I kind of expected them to roll over, playing in the Chase Center at Golden State's house, being down 3-2. I thought they would. I didn't think they'd be up for the fight, but they proved me wrong. Even though I had the Kings in 7, I just thought the Warriors' experience and all that would get to them. But this Game 7, man, it was just the Steph Curry show. And shout out to Kevon Looney. He was going crazy on the glass. The Kings had no answer for Kevon Looney. It was crazy. 21 rebounds again. I think this was his third 20-rebound game in the series. So, yeah, he had his way. And Sabonis in Game 7, first half, he was cooking. He was doing his thing. I was like, okay, he's fighting. He's being aggressive. He's not letting them go out with no fight. But then second half, bro, he was non-existent. 16 in the first half. I believe he finished the game with 22. So, bro, he only had 6 points in the second half. And some of them were garbage points. They're already down 18, and he'll hit a layup or he'll get to the free throw line, hit a couple free throws. He was just non-existent. Draymond and Kevon Looney just bothered him and had him. He was just out this whole series. And De'Aaron Fox, I know his hand is messed up, but he was bad in this Game 7 as well. 5 for 19, 5 turnovers. He had to be better. This is a Game 7, season's on the line. And also, Malik Monk also struggled too. He had 14 points. He was 4 for 14. It was just, Stephen Curry was too much for the Warriors, man. 50 points, Game 7. And I feel like the rest of the Warriors didn't even really have it like that. Clay didn't even play. Clay played like shit. He was 4 for 19. He didn't really do much. It was really Steph Curry and Kevon Looney. And then you got even Wiggins, 5 for 16. It was really the Steph and Kevon show. And against the Lakers, that's a different conversation. We'll probably get into that later. But the Kings, for me, I don't look at the Kings season as a failed season.
Of course not.
The Kings, they ended their what was it, 17 years?
17 years.
17-year drought without making the playoffs. And now you came in as a 3 seed. You lost in the first round. You guys took the defending champs to 7. I don't look at it as a failed season. It's just unfortunate that you guys had to get matched up with Golden State in round 1. And that's just how it goes. You just have to play who's in front of you. But I think this Kings team is really good. They're exciting. They got a lot to look forward to, but I don't see this as a failed season. The Warriors were just the team that's been there. They got the guys that they haven't lost the Western Conference Series since 2014. So they know how to be big in these moments.
Here's one thing I will say though, because we are saying, like, we're proud of the Kings for what they did. I think this is more of an indictment against the Warriors, We already have talks of, Warriors fans saying that they're going to beat the Lakers. You just let, the Kings take you to 7 games, And a lot of people, even you said the big E word, experience. I don't think this was a Game 7 based around their experience. This was a Stephen Curry superstar performance. As you said, Klay Thompson didn't do anything. This is about to be Warriors versus Lakers. Is about to be prime time. You just let this inexperienced team take you to 7. Let's see how much this experience is worth against, when you're going to the paint and seeing Anthony Davis instead of Sabonis. When you got to see LeBron James instead of De'Aaron Fox. But we're going to talk about that later. And speaking of the Lakers, my favorite ending to a series that's not Knicks related, Lakers versus Grizzlies. Grizzlies just got absolutely bodied, got their deserved comeuppance. The game to me felt more like a comedy than an NBA game. It was hilarious. Dillon Brooks, trash. He played like trash, and it was funny to me. It was hilarious to me. Ja Morant, we find the West. You're not even finding the first round, bro, against a 7 seed. Embarrassing. Dillon Brooks want to say, hey, I don't respect nobody until you give me 40. A whole team just gave you 40. Kicked you out the arena. You got 40 balled in a playoff game when you're the expected team to win. You guys say, oh, I'm worried about the Celtics. I'm not worried about nobody in the West. I'm good against the Warriors. You're not even going to see the Warriors. And my favorite part, oh, man, I don't know if you saw Dillon Brooks walking out the arena. That shit was funny with all the Lakers fans talking trash to him. Deserved. Didn't want to say nothing. Don't want to talk back or look back to the fans. Don't want to do interviews to the point where he's getting fined for it. He's a coward. It's like I said in the last episode. He wants to be the villain so badly, but he don't want to fully embrace it. He's a coward. And I will show some respect to Ja Morant at least. He looks more mature than Dillon Brooks at this point, which surprised me. Saying like, it happens. Like I said, we find the West. People are going to throw it back in my face. It's fine. But another embarrassing performance. This one was more so funny to me than anything else, Dillon Brooks, man, he deserved all of this. I think he's maybe the biggest. No. All right, there's Ben Simmons, but he's the second biggest coward in the league right now. What more can they say, Justin? What are they going to do next year? You going to get rid of Dillon Brooks? You going to retool your team? What's going to happen? Because in my opinion, for them to be real contenders, I don't care how good Dillon Brooks' defense is. His offense is atrocious. They got to get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't see Dillon Brooks being on this team next year. I think he's overstayed his welcome. He's been on the Grizzlies since 2017, I believe. So he's been there before Jaren Jackson. He's been there before Ja Morant. And I think for the Grizzlies to get better, the only ways they're going to get better is if they get better internally and somebody develops and gets better, or if they make a trade for somebody. I know they were close to getting Mikal Bridges. I think they offered Dillon Brooks and a few first-round picks, but I don't think the Suns wanted that. So I think in order for the Grizzlies to get better, they're going to have to look at a trade or building through the draft. Like the Grizzlies are a good drafting team. They've drafted most of their core. Like Ja Morant was drafted, Jaren Jackson drafted, Desmond Bane drafted. The 2021 draft, they got Zaire Williams. He was a good piece last year. He was starting some games. This year, he kind of fell out of the rotation. But I think he's a good piece. I think he could maybe fill in that role and replace Dillon Brooks. But, yeah, they would have to look towards the draft or look on moving somebody. And I think they were also close to getting Kevin Durant, too. But that's a risk. That's the risk the front office is going to have to make. But yeah, that was embarrassing. Dylan Brooks was talking all that. The whole team was talking all that just to lose in the first round. Dylan Brooks, he was making these statements saying that the media twists his words, which I think is fucking bullshit.
He's a baby. He must be a victim.
He was saying all that and then kind of backpedaled. The Lakers just gave him the beat down, like off rip. D'Angelo Russell went crazy, 31 points. LeBron James, he had a smooth 22. Didn't even have to go crazy.
You know what the Lakers did to these young boys? Put them over their knee and spanked them. That's what they did because they're a bunch of babies. That's literally what they did. When you lose by 40 points to a man that's 38 years old, you're getting spanked. Literally. Not in the NBA. LeBron, AD, all them boys. Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, put you over their knees and spanked them. That's what they did.
And AD, he hasn't even been playing his best offensively this series. He's playing like he's still in fucking college.
Yeah.
Like blocking the fuck out of everybody, grabbing boards, dunking, screaming at people. Like, I miss seeing this side of AD just being just super aggressive, just being in the game on his KG. But yeah, this Memphis, they got a lot of stuff to figure out in the offseason. Like I said, this franchise does well drafting as of late. They're a pretty good organization when it comes to that. But yeah, I think they'll just have to build internally and this is a young core, so they're going to keep getting better with experience. And I think Dylan Brooks will not be on this team next season.
Which is a positive for them, if you want to be honest. That's how they get better. You get better with subtraction instead of addition. Run his ass out of Memphis. Find a replacement. Find a replacement in the draft. Do something. You don't need him. He's doing more bad to the team than he is good. Just get rid of him.
Yeah.
So moving on to round two. A couple round two games have already started. I do want to start with the series that has started already. So we have the Knicks versus Heat and the Nuggets versus Suns. Those four teams already played each other. How did you feel? Let's just get this out the way. Let's get the little bit of misery, a little bit of worry out the way. How did you feel about that Knicks versus Heat game that went on?
Man, the first half I was excited, man. It was a fun back and forth game. There was moments in the game I felt like we were running away with it, and then we just kept letting the Heat back in with all these silly fouls and stuff. We were really good in transition. Shout out to Obi Toppin. He stepped up when Julius Randle was out, and he gave us a good spark in his absence. And Josh Hart too. He wasn't shying away from the competition with Jimmy Butler. He was really up for it. And also in the first half, I noticed the Heat's 3-point shooting kind of came back to earth, because I think in the Bucks series they shot like 70-something% as a team, and I knew that wasn't gonna last. So in that first half, they would have some open looks and they weren't converting. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, he still had his 25, but the way we defended him, I thought was fine. I kind of expected this to happen. The role players were going to kind of keep us in the game. And we just kept committing stupid fouls that would keep them back in it. Like, we'd be running away, and then IQ would have a dumb contest that would lead to a 4-point play and stuff like that. We kept fouling 3-point shooters. We can't be doing that. Also, Mitchell Robinson was big in this game. I kind of got worried every time he fell down, and he was kind of holding himself. But I think Kyle Lowry won the Heat this game, man. Off the bench, he had 18 points, and he really set the tone, controlled the tempo, making timely plays, hitting timely buckets, and then he did the dirty work for them, trying to go in for those extra possessions, get some rebounds, taking charges, just causing havoc. I remember Josh Hart got that rebound, just dribbling up by half court, and then Kyle Lowry just got up in there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he just makes plays like that. He's a veteran guard. He knows what to do in those. But yeah, the Heat stole one in MSG, man. RJ played a good game. Brunson, I know he had 27, but I feel like he still didn't play his best game. He could have played better.
He admitted it. He said he played terrible. Sorry.
Not yet. But I think, and the Knicks had way too many turnovers in the second half. Also, Josh Hart, Tibbs, we can't be playing Josh Hart. He played 43 minutes this game. We got to relax. I think he's too valuable for us to just wear him out and have him tired, because he has the tough assignment of guarding Jimmy Butler. So for him to be the one that played the most minutes out of everybody, we kind of have to relax. I know Q Grimes came back from his shoulder injury, but we got to trust him more, because I think we only saw him for a little bit in the first quarter, and then we didn't see him after that. So we got to ease up with the minutes with Josh Hart, because he's valuable. We don't want to burn him out. But yeah, the Heat came and stole one, but I think we're fine in the series. I'm not really nervous or scared yet. I think this is how it's going to go. I knew this series was going to be a tough one. I'm not taking the Heat lightly.
Yeah, you definitely can't take the Heat lightly, because now they're looking like contenders. They just slayed Goliath. Some positives, though, very proud of R.J. Barrett with how he played. Of course, you already mentioned Mitchell Robinson played very well. But, it's like I said in the group chat, I don't think we're going to see this replicated play between Kyle Lowry and Gabe Vincent at the same time. And I think them being a duo that really cooked us is what killed us, is what really did us in, Not to say that the Heat as a whole didn't play well, or that Jimmy didn't play well. Jimmy played good, but he didn't look like playoff Jimmy, for example. He only had like 25 points, if I'm not mistaken.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll let him get his 25 points. I'll let him get up to like 28 points, but we got to contain the other guys. I think, I understand Tyler Hero's out. That's kind of how you make this equal, but Randall, I think, is more of a necessity to his team than Tyler Hero is to the Heat. Even if Randall doesn't bring the offense, even though he's dominated the Heat in the regular season, I understand it's the regular season, but still, even without his offense, we need that presence in the paint with his rebounding. Remember, his rebounding, it wasn't just Mitchell Robinson, Randall's rebounding was key against the Cavs. And I would love to have Julius Randle out there, even if he's just scoring 18 points and getting a bunch of fucking rebounds.
No, yeah, we definitely need Randle back in this series. And also, there's no way, if Gabe Vincent is going to score 20, we're losing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If Gabe Vincent and Kyle Lowry are both on timing, if they both on hots, we can't do nothing about it,
Yeah.
We deserve to lose that game if they both killing us. But I don't think both of them are going to kill us at the same time. Maybe one other time, but they're not going to do that for an entire series. So I'm not too worried about that. What I am worried about, I understand Jimmy Butler took a little bit of an injury. I'm worried about him going nuclear and cooking us. I'm more concerned about that than these two guys being good at the same time, because that is more likely. Jimmy Butler is here to play playoff ball, and to be honest, I'm worried about that. I'm worried about trying to contain him,
Yeah.
But I think it is a possibility. I've been going back and forth with myself, even before game one, trying to think, how far is this going to go? Who's going to take this? Of course, my biased take is going to be Knicks in 6, but it's like, the realistic one is this could go either way. It could be the Heat in 6. Could be either or. I think one of them is either going to take it in 6 or is going all the way to 7,
Yeah.
But, man, this is a tough series. This is going to be really tough for the Knicks. I think it's also going to be tough for the Heat, of course, too, because, I don't think the Heat... Eric Spoelstra in the start, was saying, like, guys, we know their game. Why are we letting them attack the paint? I believe that was in the timeout in the first quarter. He's like, why are we letting them attack the paint? This is a paint team, And they started packing the paint. They started stopping us, But I think we just need, a couple good Brunson games. Try to keep this version of R.J. Barrett, keeping up that productivity. Just slot Randall back in. Randall doesn't even have to be all NBA level, man. I think this could be our series if things go the right way, You
have a prediction or not?
Man, if I had to go 1, I really don't want to be biased, man, but it's hard. I might... If Randall comes back game 2, I'm taking the Knicks in 7. If Randall plays the rest of the series, I'm taking the Knicks in 7. Anything else, even if Brunson goes nuclear without Randall being around, I would say the Heat in 6, bro.
Nah, yeah, I got the Knicks in 7 as well. I didn't even really think about Randall not coming back, but I just feel like we just have the depth over Miami. Miami's lacking that depth. Yeah, you did say about Jimmy Butler going nuclear, but me personally, I'd rather Jimmy Butler go for his 45 and hold everybody else down. Because Bam, as good as Bam is, he's very reluctant on offense. He doesn't really look to score like that. The only time he's scoring is if he's literally wide open off a dump off, or if he has a Jalen Brunson on him and he'll go to score. But with Mitch on him, he's not looking to score. And yeah, with nights like Gabe Vincent scoring 20 and stuff like that, yeah, I'm expecting us to lose. But if Jimmy Butler's going off for 40 and everybody else got less than 15, I like our chances because we have a deep squad. And we are going to miss Julius Randle because we need him for the rebounding, the extra possessions. But yeah, I'm gonna go Knicks in 7 because the Heat got that dog in them, but I feel like we also have that fight as well. We're not a pushover team that everybody thinks we are.
Another thing is because you say we deep, but you know that depth that we has to perform too. I'm still waiting for Quickly to give us a fucking game, bro. We're already in round 2. I'm waiting for him to give us a game. And it's like, how much longer are we going to wait for him to, to explode for one game? We just need one game from him, We need one game a series from him. If we don't get that, how far are we really going to go with our depth, Yeah. Depth is important, but sometimes what matters to me is who got the best player in the series. And right now, that's Jimmy Butler over Brunson and Randall. And I know you said, Jimmy Butler, if he has 45 and the rest of them have under 15, we can win. We've seen Jimmy Butler score that 40, 45, 50 and win, So I don't want that to happen either. I would love to try to limit Jimmy. This is going to sound insane. I'd love to limit Jimmy to 35 and under. That's when I think that we have a chance. I understand we just lost like this with him scoring 25. If we limit Jimmy to that and limit the rest of his teammates, I think that's how we win. But at this point, I want the depth to stand up, bro. I want Randall to come back. I want IQ to have a good game. I'm waiting. I'm challenging IQ right now. I need you to have a good game in game 2 in the Garden, bro.
Yeah.
Because the bench guys, they do better when they're at home. And I think this is IQ's chance to really pop off, Give us 15 points, Give us 18 points. I'm not asking you to drop 30. I'm asking you for you to drop 15 to 18 points. That's all we need. Make a couple 3-pointers, bro. That's all we need.
Oh, there's a report right now that says Jimmy Butler is iffy for game 2.
That's another thing. Injuries, man. I don't think there's any way the Heat play without Jimmy Butler, even if he's on one leg, bro. But if for some reason he sits out a game, we got to take full advantage of that. Because we weren't even taking advantage of the mismatch with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
I would have put him in every pick and roll action.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that.
I remember that 2015 when DeMarre Carroll on the Hawks messed up ankle and LeBron was going at... LeBron did not give a fuck. He was going at him the whole time. And we were supposed to feel sorry for DeMarre Carroll. Fuck that. And also, side note, Obi, I fuck with you, but motherfucker, you took 11 threes. Like, relax. Yo, I'm looking at it now. I'm like, yo, he was 4 for 11.
That's why I'd rather have Randall take those threes, bro.
I'm like, damn.
I'd rather Randall take that many threes than Obi. Let Obi take, 3-4 threes off the bench. This is exactly why we need Randall. Obi got to chill out. I like Obi Toppin, I rate Obi Toppin pretty decently. But I don't want him starting a playoff game, bro. I don't think we're really going to win games where Obi Toppin's starting for us.
I thought he played fine. I just noticed that he took 11 threes. I was like, damn.
He played okay, but he's not Julius Randle.
Oh, yeah, no.
He's not boarding like Randle, and I'd rather have Randle take a bunch of terrible threes,
Yeah.
But moving on to the West, we saw the Nuggets face the Suns. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty shocked by how this game ended. I really thought the Suns were going to steal this one, but Nuggets came away with the win, bro. And I kind of want to ask you, we talk a lot about playoff Jimmy this, playoff Jimmy that, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Underrated guy that I don't think a lot of people talk about because of bubble performances. When do we recognize playoff Jamal Murray? He's been having a great playoff so far. He just dropped 34 points against the Suns. He looked like the best guy on his team. No disrespect to Jokic, almost a 20-20 game, But we all know what everyone likes. We like to see everybody scoring. And going back to the 2020 game real quick, did you see the play where Jokic had like 6 offensive boards in a row?
Yeah.
Stat padding. I fuck with you, but still, like Jamal Murray looked incredible. Aaron Gordon looked incredible. I think DeAndre Ayton's in for hell this series. And that same play that I was talking about, he didn't even give an effort to try to get the board. He was already out waiting for the inbound. Kevin Durant's hustling for the board. That's a problem. DeAndre Ayton, we called Bam Adebayo really soft, but I think DeAndre Ayton might really be the softest big in the entire league. Softer than Gobert and softer than Cat. And it's like, I think Jokic is going to turn up from here. He had 24 points. That's a great performance. It's only going to get worse for Ayton from here. I understand we got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant on the other side. I don't think they're going to be able to beat the Nuggets. If Jamal Murray is putting in these performances where he's going like bucket for bucket, point for point against, like Devin Booker, the Suns are screwed. In my opinion, you got to be able to stop Jamal Murray instead of focusing on stopping Jokic. Let Jokic get his buckets. Let him do everything on the offensive side. Stop Jamal Murray. And definitely do not let Aaron Gordon score 20 to 25 points on you, dog. That's the only formula for the Suns to win. But at this point, I don't think anyone's stopping playoff Jamal Murray, bro. He's been fantastic. And I think he's showing, like, you know what? The bubble run that I had in the playoffs was not a fraud. That's me. That's me in the playoffs. When it's the postseason, when things matter, this is who I really am as a player. And you know what? It's looking like he's one of the best damn players in the world right now. It sounds insane, but I don't know what it is. Once it's the postseason, he's ready for the bright lights. Unlike a lot of guys who choke up, he's ready. He elevates his game. His game translates even better in the playoffs than it does in the regular season. He looks like a damn superstar.
Yeah.
But besides that, man, I think CP got to play way better if the Suns want to win. I think both KD and Booker, even though they both had near 30 balls, these guys are going to have to literally combine for like 70 if Chris Paul is going to play like this. Because don't expect anything from Ayton. I'm not expecting a single good game from DeAndre Ayton in this series. And this is exactly why I'm predicting Nuggets in 6 games. Make work out of these boys.
Nah, yeah, I was saying it in our TikTok video. If you don't follow us at the J&J podcast on TikTok. But yeah, I was saying if the Phoenix Suns want to win this series, I feel like they got to control and kind of contain Jamal Murray in those pick and roll opportunities. You can't let him get going. The Nuggets like to play where, yes, we know Jokic is the main option, but Jamal Murray is the guy that handles the ball. He'll make the decision sometimes in crunch time. And Jokic, the Nuggets will just play off of him while Jamal Murray's making all those ISO plays. And also, for the Nuggets, for me, what I have for them to win this series, their role guys have to contribute. They just have to contribute in key moments. Like the game 1 was a perfect example. You had contributions from Aaron Gordon, gave you 23. You had KCP, he gave you 10 points, gave you 3 threes. That could always, when a role player is hitting their shots, that could always swing the momentum for a team, especially at home. And then you also had Bruce Brown off the bench give you 14 points. He's a high energy guy. You could never do without those plays. Those always come in handy. And Christian Brown, I know he didn't score. Oh no, he had a point, but he plays very pesky defense. He kind of bothers the ball handler. He's bothering Chris Paul and stuff. The guys like that, they'll always change the momentum for a team, and you always need that in your favor. And for the Suns, if they want to win the series, they kind of, like I said, contain Jamal Murray, but they're going to have to, Durant and Booker are just going to have to outscore everybody. Like, that's what they're going to have to do. And I know the Nuggets are going to want to go out and run. They want to play a fast-paced game. So I know they could play in the half court, but, Phoenix, they like to hit that, go for those mid-rangers and all that. Don't really take as much threes. They got Chris Paul, mid-range god, Devin Booker, mid-range god, Kevin Durant, mid-range god. So they kind of want to slow the pace down. Chris Paul, he's a maestro, wants to slow the pace down. He's getting older. But the Nuggets want to go out and run. They want to shoot threes. This is a very fast-paced game. I expect it to continue to be like that. And my prediction for the series, I had the Nuggets in 6 as well. But more so because this Nuggets team is they just have a lot of continuity. They've been together. Jokic, unfortunately, hasn't been able to play with his 2 co-stars for the last 2 years. And this year, he's finally got them. And Jamal Murray never got to play with Aaron Gordon until this year. As soon as they got him, he got hurt. So now they got their whole team together. They're clicking at the right time. Phoenix, they do have the star talent, but their bench is very shaky. They're gonna need, if they want to stay in it, their bench guys have to come up. Like they need buckets from Terrence Ross. They need buckets from T.J. Warren. T.J. Warren didn't even play this game. He got a DMP, and Terrence Ross only played 5 minutes. I know you're worried about defensively, you're giving up points, but at this point in this series, you're gonna have to match offense. When Kevin Durant and Devin Booker don't got it going, DeAndre Ayton is gonna be, he's a floater. He might have a game here where he scores 25, and the next game he's going to have like 12. So you're going to need contributions from other guys offensively to stay in this game. The second quarter, the Nuggets ran away 37 points in the second quarter to Phoenix's 19. So you need to fill in the gaps. You can't afford to just leave points unanswered and just let the Nuggets keep going on this run.
So let me ask you something before we move on, because let me know if I sound crazy.
Yeah.
I understand Kevin Durant is one of the best basketball players of all time, one of the best offensive forces, well, one of the best scorers. Let me not say offense, because, you know, that includes passing and all that.
Yeah.
One of the deepest bags we've seen in the NBA. At this point, I don't care about that. Do you think the Suns are regretting this trade at this moment? Trading not just depth, but also, you know, some defense. Because, like, who are you throwing right now at Jamal Murray? Who are you trusting to lock up Jamal Murray? Could have been Bridges. If Michael Porter Jr. was to go off, let's say in Game 2, Game 3, you could throw Bridges at him. But right now, it's like we're starting Josh Okogie, you know? I know you laughing, but I'm being serious. We throwing Josh Okogie as a starter in the second round of the playoffs when you're supposed to be contenders. In my opinion, I think the Suns are going to view this season as a failure, because I understand, you know, you putting all the superstars together. We just saw this with the Nets, bro. I understand, you know, the Nets, it was also a lot of you know, locker room issues. But when it comes to like the play style and fit, sometimes you don't want one of the best players of all time. Sometimes you want the fit. And I think the Suns, by the end of this postseason, are going to wish that they had McCall Bridges on this team. They're going to wish that they had Cam Johnson. But what do you think about that? You think they're going to regret this?
I think this season is still too early to kind of regret it. They traded for Kevin Durant in February at the deadline. So I feel like that first year together, we always see it. The first year, when you put a team together, it's not really that first year. I remember when LeBron first got to Miami, they lost that first year. They won the second year. When LeBron went back to Cleveland, they lost the first year, won the second year. Yeah, and this is different too, because those two examples, they came together in the offseason. This one's happening mid-season. So I don't think if they lose this series, I don't think we're looking at them like a failure. I think if next year, when they have a whole offseason and they get whatever free agents, and then they enter the new season with some type of familiarity with each other, if they fail, I think if they don't get to the Western Conference Finals next year, then it's a failure. God willing, there's no injuries or nothing, because you never know what could happen.
I gotta interrupt, bro, because I'm sorry, but Kevin Durant's gonna turn 35 in September. Yeah. Chris Paul's gonna turn 38 a day after my birthday next week. These guys have to win this year. Chris Paul is only gonna get worse next year, and they don't exactly have, you know, the you know, assessments to the assets to trade for a guy to replace Chris Paul. I guess you could trade Ayton, but who wants him at this point? He's at probably an all-time low right now. I think they're going to regret this trade on the sole fact that instead of it being, you know, Chris Paul's going to retire, we still got that young core together of Bridges, Booker, Ayton, Johnson. It's just Devin Booker that's young right now on this team. Yeah. Well, and Ayton, but as a good/elite player. You could have had a Devin Booker and McCall Bridges combo. Maybe McCall Bridges doesn't, you know, develop to be what he looks like on the Nets. He was still really damn good on Phoenix, you know? And you need defense. I think this is definitely a win-now year, because next year, I got no faith in this team, considering that if Chris Paul is back, he's going to be 38 years old, and by the next postseason, he'll be 39.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely going to be a move that the Suns regret if they lose this series. I'm not counting them all the way out yet. I do have the Nuggets in 6, like I said earlier, but still, just in hindsight, it's not looking good at the moment.
No, yeah. I could see what you're saying about them regretting it this year. For me, I feel like they won't really regret it. I think they could regret it, but I don't think they'll regret it this year. I think maybe a year from now, if we see them in this situation and they look like they're being overmatched, I could see them regretting it. I think Phoenix in the offseason have to look into getting a backup point guard, because like you're saying, Chris Paul is just getting older. And I remember 2020 draft. I know we passed up on Halliburton, and I was sick.
Don't remind
but
me.
I was even more mad that Phoenix didn't take him because that would have been perfect. Have Tyrese Halliburton learn under Chris Paul, and then you could just ease him into it when Chris Paul is ready to retire. But yeah, Phoenix, they just have to. For me, I don't think this season is a failure. I don't think they regret it yet. If you ask me a year from now, my answer will probably change. But right now, I don't think this season, if they lose this series, I don't think it's a failure.
We're just going to have to disagree on that. So let's move back out to the East. A series that I'm not really too excited to talk about, even if Embiid was healthy, because I think Boston just owns Philly every single time, not just in the regular season, but also the postseason. Embiid is, if I'm not mistaken, 0-2 against the Celtics in the playoffs. It's looking bad for Philly right now. I understand they haven't played each other yet, but I got the Celtics over the Sixers in 6. Embiid is hurt, and even if he's not hurt, like I said anyways, he's always losing to Boston. I think JB and JT are going to run wild on Philly. With the Bucks out, I think the Celtics are going to go all the way to the finals. I think we're going to see, greatness from both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I'm predicting another Doc Rivers collapse, bro. And I think this is going to really be the year that does him in. I think he's going to get fired, which I've been calling for a while now. I don't think Doc Rivers should have a job in the NBA, as I've told you before. This man is riding on a ring that he earned 15 years ago, but doing what? Coaching a big three? A big three where they almost fumbled numerous times in the Eastern Conference? Like, come on, bro. And if Philly loses this, in my opinion, they got to clean house. They started doing that by getting rid of Ben Simmons, getting, Harden in that. A total fleece. If you got a second rounder by himself out of a Ben Simmons trade, you win. But at this point, it stops looking like a Ben Simmons problem. It starts looking like a Philly problem. And I don't blame Embiid. I'm not going to blame the series on Embiid if they lose. Unless, he plays like all-time terrible performance under 20 points a game. But they got to clean house, You're not going to win with Tobias Harris as your third best player. I don't think Maxi's going to be that X factor that's going to take you over the Celtics. Harden's getting older. Get rid of everybody, including Embiid, if you lose. And I know I'm saying if you lose. To me, I'm thinking it's when you lose. Clean house, because you're going to lose. I don't think Philly has a single chance in the series. I understand that I'm giving Philly 2 games to win, but that's if Embiid comes back.
Yeah.
If Embiid don't come back, expect Boston to bring out the brooms. As they always do, they're going to cook Philly. JB and JT are going to cook Philly. Derek White is going to cook Philly. Do not be surprised. I don't even rate Marcus Smart highly on defense. Do not be surprised if Marcus Smart locks up Harden. Do not be surprised if Tobias Harris starts crumbling like he does every single year in the postseason whenever they play a good team. Philly has made so many mistakes in this past half decade. Letting Jimmy Butler go in favor of Ben Simmons. Paying Tobias Harris all this money. This has been a disappointment, man, for Philly. I think the process failed. Embiid is the only bright spot of the process. But at this point, I think Embiid has 1 foot out of the door if they lose. What adjustments do you think Philly can make without Embiid to even steal game 1? Like, be serious right now.
Yeah, with Embiid being out for game 1, I think it's a blow for Philly. I thought this could have been, it could still be an interesting series if he comes back in time. But the Celtics, they already have the Sixers number. They've played them, I think, twice in the playoffs before, and they've just handled them every time. James Harden, I know he's hobbled right now. He's playing basically kind of like half injured right now, and him already. He didn't even really look that good in the Nets series, so I don't even expect him to be that good in this series with a better overall team in the Celtics. And you got guys like Maxey and Tobias Harris. I think Maxey will show up for a few games, but Tobias Harris had his best series against the Nets, but I don't think he could replicate that again against the Celtics. And the Celtics just got too much going for them. And even when Embiid comes back, he's going to be coming into a tougher series with You got the Embiid stopper with Al Horford. I know he's injured. The two Embiid stoppers, Marc Gasol and Al Horford. I know Al Horford's older, but he has a history of guarding Embiid in the playoffs. And then Robert Williams, too. He's another guy that Philly doesn't want to see. But, yeah, I think, JT and JB are going to take care of business. Derek White has been playing really good. I think right now he's probably the Celtics' third best player. And like you said with Marcus Smart, I know he's been kind of on the decline, but he's still the heart and soul of this team. He's still gonna do what he does, putting pressure on James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. But yeah, from my prediction for this series, I don't know if I'm crazy. I had Celtics in 5.
That's not crazy, bro. That's not crazy at all, because even Embiid will probably say himself, did he say that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he say that about the Celtics or the Nets when he said it's not a rivalry? We always get our ass kicked. I believe it's about the Celtics. Yeah,
Celtics.
Yeah, but he also said about the Nets, like they always beat us. He also said that too.
I mean, had Embiid been playing from the jump from game 1, I probably would have took Boston in 6. But with him being out this game, I'll probably say Boston in 5.
Yeah, they're fucked, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to say. Prime Harden's not coming back. This man, he's too old now at this point to take over a game by himself.
And I know it's not. I'm sorry to cut you off, but good. I know it's not Embiid's fault. But like, we got to start having the conversation, my brother. Like, you've never been to the conference finals. I know some of the shit's out of your control, but we're seeing again. It's like,
this is where I disagree. And you know how I feel about Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take too much time on Ben Simmons. But let's be serious. Ben Simmons had a 1-point game in 2018.
I forgot about
don't forget that, because that's when I started calling him trash, and y'all all want to call me crazy, all right?
Especially me.
Exactly. Ben Simmons had 1 point in a playoff game. We're not blaming Embiid for that. 2019, Kawhi Leonard hit probably the greatest shot of all time. If not greatest, then top 3. So I can't blame Embiid for that. In a Game 7, I think the Sixers, I picked the Sixers to win a ring that year too. I think the Sixers could have made work out of the Bucks in the conference finals. But that's what if. That's solely conjecture. Who cares? 2020, Embiid was hurt, if I'm not mistaken. It was the bubble.
No, he played.
He played. He played. No, I'm not saying he didn't play. He played, but if I'm not mistaken, he was hurt.
I know Ben Simmons was out for that series.
Ben Simmons was out.
Yeah.
2021, we saw the disaster class that was Ben Simmons. So I'm not going to blame Embiid. I don't think this is an Embiid problem.
Embiid did have some shaky games.
In 2021, you talking about? I don't care about that.
He had some shaky fourth
quarters. I don't care about that when you score 1 field goal. When you attempt like 4 field goals and score 1 field goal
I'm not
by
saying
Ben Simmons in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying that
series is his fault, though. I know Ben Simmons and Doc Rivers are going to get the most to blame. But he wasn't perfect in that series either.
But here's my thing, though, and here's the problem that I have with a lot. I'm not saying you're a Ben Simmons defender, but they're all gone at this point, basically. Yeah. They all ran out of town. But a lot of people have said, they won with Ben playing this way. So it has to be the whole team's fault. That's not an excuse to play bad, all right? Embiid shouldn't have to drop 45 because someone like Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris combined for like 18 points. Let's be so for real right now. And at this point, Embiid is hurt. That's one thing I'll blame on him. He's always getting hurt. I'll say that. That is his biggest. That's my biggest gripe with him. He's always hurt.
Every year in the playoffs, he's always missing games. I think aside from that bubble series against the Celtics, that was the only one where he didn't really. I don't think he missed a game. But every year, he's always missing games.
Exactly. So this is why I don't want to give Embiid the blame. A lot of people will say, oh, Embiid is so absolved of blame. That's not what it is. Look at his co-stars, bro. They like I said, a big mistake by Philly. You getting rid of Jimmy Butler, you letting go of Jimmy Butler to keep Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. Be so serious right now. You want to hire Doc Rivers, a man who's been clinging his entire legacy, most overrated coach of all time, clinging his legacy on a ring from 15 years ago now. Come on, dog. The front office, in my opinion, they've done what they can, but like the Harden trade was a pure finesse, as we said. I remember saying, just trade him for, like Halliburton. Trade Harden when he was on the Kings, too, before he's even like this great. Trade him for Malcolm Brogdon and stuff, Trade Ben Simmons for anything at this point. They stole James Harden. But that's just not enough to get past the Celtics. And I'm not going to blame Embiid, like I said, unless he has an all-time meltdown. But at this point, they got to clean house, bro. They have to clean house because it's just not working at this point. It's not working out. Whether it is Embiid's fault, whether it was because it was Ben Simmons' fault the past couple of years, whether it was Tobias Harris's fault, whatever. They got to clean house.
No, yeah, I don't think we should start cooking Embiid, but I think we should start raising some eyebrows. Like, come on, bro. But
I think 2021 was his best chance, but we also what happened with Ben Simmons.
yeah,
So moving on to the last series, we're gonna head back out west. California matchup. We got the Lakers versus the Warriors. LeBron versus Curry again for what? What is this, like the fifth time? Nah, counting the play-in, this is like what, like the fifth time? They played each other. Yeah, this is the 6th time. 4 finals, 1 play-in, another series this year. 6th time facing Curry. I don't know how I feel about this, you know? This isn't what I expected to see. I expected the Kings to be here. Oh, well, you know, things happen, but I think a lot of Warriors fans, as I mentioned earlier, underestimating the Lakers. I think, like I said before, you're not charging into the paint and seeing Domantas Sabonis. You're seeing what looks like a brand new AD damn near. We're seeing the old AD back in the paint, 2019 AD. Let that offense come by. Not that his offense has been weak, you know, but let his offense truly hit what the real AD is. Let's see what happens in those games. Let's see LeBron really start trying his hardest at this point. Let's see how the Warriors handle that. Let's see how the Warriors handle, you know, a guy like Hachimura having a couple good games. You know, he had a pretty damn good series, that series. Let's talk about how the Warriors are going to handle. I understand he's been kind of like a meme, you know. LeBron got another white boy. Let's see how they handle Austin Reeves. Let's see how they handle, you know, the occasional good D-Lo game. I'm picking the Lakers in 6. Not because the Warriors aren't good or anything. It's just that Klay Thompson hasn't been on shit in the playoffs. I understand he's averaged 20 points, but pretty damn weak 20. Jordan Poole ain't been on shit. As you said, it's been on offense, it's been Curry. On the boards, it's been, you know, Looney. It's been them two that are the main stars. I think we're going to see a couple really good Curry games, but guess what? Some of them just are not going to be enough. I think the Warriors are going to be very surprised when they face this Laker team. And I think the Lakers are going to punch in the ticket to the Western Conference Finals. Like I said, just in 6 games. They're going to start off with a 2-0 lead. I'm going to be very specific. Start off with a 2-0 lead. Lose a game. They up 2-1. Go up 3-1. Maybe concede another game. Finish in the 6th game. I got a lot of faith in this Lakers team right now. They're looking really damn good. As we said earlier, they blew out the Grizzlies by 40. What is Golden State going to do about that?
I think for this series, I know I was praising Kevon Looney in the last series, but I feel like there's going to be a tougher task. Now you got to go up against AD and Jared Vanderbilt in the paint. So I don't think he's going to have these 20 rebound games again. I think he's still going to make his presence felt, but it's going to be different with AD down there. And the Lakers, they're playing very good. They're playing they're kind of hitting their stride right now at the right time. This is the best time to be going into round 2 and everything's just clicking. And I know the Warriors are coming in on their high horse. Stephen Curry just lifted the Warriors in that Game 7, lifted them to semifinals. So now they're going to be coming in like, yo, we got to step it up. We know Steph is our guy, but we got to help him out. But, yeah, I think the Lakers in this series, they just got the size over Golden State. But I trust Golden State to stay in this series. They're gonna expose some of the holes on the Lakers defensively. And in this series, I got the Lakers, I'm going to say in 7.
That's a good pick.
I think it's going to be back and forth. I feel like, because I could see the Lakers dropping both games away in the Chase Center. I could see them dropping the 2 road games. But, yeah, I think the Golden State Warriors are going to fight in this series. I know we're going to have to see Jordan Poole step up. Klay Thompson has to be better. We'll probably get those games from him. LeBron is kind of, I know we're not seeing him be his playoff LeBron, but he's kind of picking and choosing his spots of when he wants to go crazy. And like you said, the D-Lo occasional game, he'll have like 25, and then he'll go MIA for 3 games. But yeah, I think this is really gonna be a good series, one that everyone's been waiting for. A LeBron versus Steph non-finals playoff matchup. We're seeing it in round 2, so I know the ratings are about to be crazy for this.
Why do you think Scott Foster was on the ref crew? Nah, I'm playing for that Game 7. But this is the big money series in the West. Maybe in all of the NBA right now. This is what Adam Silver wants the most. Not saying he rigged anything, but this is the best outcome he could have gotten out of the first round series.
You think Draymond's gonna be going at LeBron, or you think he's gonna be giving him hugs?
Nah, he's gonna turn up the competitive fire. I think he's gonna play dirty even. I think we're gonna see some dirty Draymond plays. Maybe not against him, but against AD. He might even try to hurt AD on purpose. But I'm not scared of Klay Thompson anymore. I know you keep saying Klay's gonna have a game. You know what? Everyone wants to say, Game 6 Klay. Watch out for Game 6 Klay. The Warriors going to close out the Kings. Game 6 Klay.
I feel like Klay at this point is going to be he'll probably be MIA for a few games.
He ain't on shit anymore,
bro. He'll have that one, explosive game. 1 or 2.
We said that not we, but everyone wanted to say that last series,
Yeah.
Never saw it. Never saw that incredible Klay game. He's had decent games and subpar games. Never saw that great Klay game.
It'd be so funny because he'll get the ball and he'll just shoot that shit. He don't even look.
And then miss.
And he'll hit the back. You know who else does that? Michael Porter Jr. does that too. He'll touch that shit and for a second he just throws it up. And he'll just hit the side of the... Nah, I'm gassing it. But he'll hit the backboard so hard.
All right, so let's talk about the MVP of the week.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's 2. I know we always say 3 nominations. There's only 2 this week. Mm-hmm. You want to be completely honest with you, though? I only had 1 until yesterday. And it's because of this reason. Who had the better 50 ball? Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler?
Damn, that's tough. That's very
And
tough.
forget the 40 that Jimmy had. Just 50 versus 50. Because I got Jimmy Butler as my MVP of the week, even without the 40 ball he had.
Damn, man. I want to say Steph because it was on the road, Game 7. But Jimmy Butler had his 50 against the 1 seed on the road as well.
I know. I think the 56 was at home. The 40 was on the road.
Oh yeah. When they closed it out. I think I'm gonna go Steph. Yeah, Steph 50 points, Game 7. The whole team, nobody was nowhere to be found other than Kevon Looney. Yeah, I would give it to Steph. He just went crazy in that fight. He was not trying to go home, bro. He was going. I would see him miss a shot, run in for the offensive rebound, tip it in, fall on the floor, flexing and shit. I'm like, yeah, Steph is not playing this game. He was not trying to go home.
Give me the 56 points over the best perimeter defender in the NBA right now, Drew Holiday, and talk his shit in Game 5 and drop another 40 on the best perimeter defender in Drew Holiday.
Yeah, I got mixed up because I was thinking the 50-point game was the closeout.
No. But yeah, he had the 56 and then he had that 40 ball.
Yeah.
Give me Jimmy as my MVP of the week. He mind broke not just Drew Holiday, but the entire Milwaukee Bucks team.
Those are 2 good picks, though.
I told you it was only going to be 1 until Steph decided to drop fucking 50 on the Kings, But we're going to have to disagree on that one. Both valid picks. I don't think there's a wrong answer between the 2. But that wraps it up for J&J for the day. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace out.